Story 1. The Restaurant. I was about 18 years old at the time, working as an assistant chef in an old house that had been turned into a restaurant. I've seen ghosts. I've felt their presence since I was very young, so I wasn't shocked when I had my most exciting experience. I started having dreams of a young woman who always looked the same. When I'd go to the cellar to get some food, I could hear a woman crying, calling my name. I didn't really know if I was going crazy or if it was real. When I went back upstairs into the food prep room, my back towards the door, I heard someone call my name. Expecting to see my boss, I turned around, saw an image of a lady. It was the lady I'd been dreaming about. The hair stood up all over my body. I turned around and I continued to work. 2 containers flew off the shelf, one hitting me, the other going across the room. I later found a picture of the lady standing in front of the house, dressed in the exact same dress I'd seen her in. I knew then that I wasn't crazy. My second story concerns animals. I have a very deep connection with my animals. I work at a horse stable, and when I was cleaning out the stalls, I would hear a horse with shoes on, walking on the concrete on the other side of the barn. Thinking that one of the horses got back in, I went to investigate. I walked over to the other side of the barn, and I saw a near solid horse standing in the stall, swinging his head up and down. He was solid, but not quite. I could still see through him. I'm curious as to why this horse would stay around after it is clearly passed on. I questioned my boss, who is also a believer in the ghost world, about the horse I see sometimes. I fully described him to my boss. I said that some days the horse looks sick, and then some days I see the horse and he looks well again. She told me that it sounded like a horse they had had, and they'd had to put to sleep because of a condition that it had where one day it would be perfectly fine, and the next day it'd be really, really sick. I guess the horse liked the place so much that he sticks around. Story 2. Things I've seen. I've had experiences pretty much all my life, ranging from seeing faces in the dark to hearing voices. But I never really came up against anything that truly scared me. I would get chills, but that'd be about it. We moved a lot when I was younger. The longest we were ever in a house was 6 years, and I hated that house. We moved there because my mother was pregnant with my little brother, and I remember the first time I stepped in that house, I felt sick. I had to leave. I told my mom that I didn't like it there, and I didn't want to live there. She got mad at me, and she told me I just had to deal with it. So I did. Nothing really unusual happened for the first couple weeks. And then things started to go really bad for our family. Life problems, with outside family members causing drama and so forth. It was pretty bad. I used to read a lot. It was my escape. But he didn't like me reading. At first, it was just the normal feeling of being watched, which I was used to because of some of our other houses and some friends' houses. Then it progressed to shadows, moving around in the corners of my eye. When I would look, of course, they'd be gone. But things got worse family-wise. My mom went into labor 3 months early. My dad, he lost any faith he had had. And that's when things got really bad. For me, at least. My bed is set on a cold spot. I always assumed it was because it was underneath a window. But now, I think otherwise. I have a fear of closets now. And it was because of that house. There was something in that closet. During the day, it was fine. But at night, I had to sleep with my back flat against the wall. If I rolled over in the middle of the night and slept on my stomach, I would immediately wake up and roll over with every hair standing on end. Sometimes I'd wake up with scratches on me. I didn't have nails at the time. I had a really bad nail biting problem. I would wake up every now and then to a male voice screaming, "Wake up!" I've been pushed in the dresser by him. I was even slapped by an unseen hand. Things in my room would move around. Eventually we moved out, and we moved to another part of town, into a brand new house with a big yard, so my brothers would have room to grow. We got dogs, and everything was going pretty good. I had no bad feelings about this house. I was extremely comfortable, and I let my guard down. We had a golden retriever named Ivy, and she was very protective of me and my brothers. I was asleep in my room. I guess it was somewhere around 3 a.m. I was dreaming. My family and I were outside on the back porch. Ivy was there with our other dog. I was on the porch swing, and our other dog jumped up to sit with me. Ivy was on the porch sleeping. My mom, dad, and grandma were sitting in chairs. The boys were playing on a trampoline. One by one, everyone goes inside until it's just me and dad. Then he gets up and goes inside. I get up, go inside, get a drink, and come back out. I call to Ivy, but she didn't look at me. She didn't respond. So I call her again, and I lean over to touch her, and she's cold. I go inside and tell my mom that she has passed. My dad comes out and confirms, and we go and get some blankets to wrap her up. In my dream, we bury her. And then I wake up in real life. My grandma walks in and wakes me up. And the first thing she says is, "What died in here?" The room had a bad odor. Comes to find out that my parents had made an appointment with our dog because she had a very serious case of heartworms. She survived and all was well, but I think that dream was warning me. Story 3. Scared the wits out of me. This happened way back in 5th grade, and it scared the wits out of me. Our county and the surrounding counties share this place called the Outdoor Lab. It's called this because, that's what it is. It's a house in the forest with a big lake, and kids can go there with their science class to do experiments, play, learn about leadership through surviving the wild. Our county had this thing where all 5th graders had to do an overnight at the Outdoor Lab. Each school was at the lab at a different time. But either way, if you were a 5th grader in my county, you had to have spent the night at the Outdoor Lab. It started out really fun. Since we were there overnight, we got to do bigger and more fun experiments. The boys slept on one side of the bathrooms, and the girls crossed a bridge over to the other side of the stream to camp. Everyone was given a tent and time to find a place to put their tent, put their sleeping bags in, and get settled. I don't know why, but for some reason, my friends and I decided to take a spot closest to the woods. This was right around the time of Blair Witch Project. I don't know why we thought that this was a good idea. I guess we thought we were so cool. That night was so fun. The people who worked at the lab took us on a night tour. Everyone was rowdy and happy. We got to sit in a huge tent and pretend to have a big official meeting. No one was tired. No one was ready to sleep when it came time to go to sleep. There was 3 to a tent, and I remember I slept on the far right. At some point, one of my friends, I don't remember which for whatever reason, tried to wake me up and asked to go to the bathroom with her. I, being stupid and lazy, pretended to not wake up. So she turned around and asked my other friend to go. After they left, I felt really bad about not going, and I was too scared to go back to sleep on my own. So I sat up and waited for them to come back. I sat there for I don't know how long, when all of a sudden, I heard someone mess with the tent. Then the tent zipper started to go up really, really slowly. I didn't think this was funny. I yelled out to my friends, but they didn't answer. I took my flashlight and shined it at the tent's zipper. I didn't see anything. No shadow, no form, nothing. I'm starting to freak out. I kept my flashlight shining at the same point for a few seconds, and the zipper kept going up. I then heard my friends calling to me from the bridge. They sounded so far away. About 2 minutes later, they tore open the tent and asked if I was okay. I said, of course I am. They told me that they were walking back to the tent. They shined their flashlight ahead of them into the woods, and by chance they saw a large shadow in the form of a man hovering in front of our tent with his hand touching it. I told them that it couldn't have been a shadow because I was shining my light right at the tent's zipper and didn't see anything. They asked me if I heard anything before the zipper went up, and I said no. Now in our tent, looking out, our back is to the river. Our right is to the other tents. Our left is a huge forest. My friends got me to lie back down, but I don't know if I went back to sleep. I've thought about this time ever since. I guess it could have been other girls or a boy from the other camp, but I did not hear any movement outside. Since I was waiting for my friends to come back, I was listening really hard. I didn't hear anything before or after, only the sound of the zipper being pulled up. Maybe it was my 5th grade brain over-exaggerating things. Or maybe it really was something outside of my tent. My friend said that when they yelled at me from the bridge, the shadow did not disappear. It just took off towards the woods. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the stories. If you did, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Bye.